Hi, I'm Beck and welcome to my June to be read pile. These are the books that I am projecting to read, hopefully in the month of June. I do have a few long books here though, so I will need all the luck I can get. And I will kick the video straight off with saying I'm currently rereading the second book in the Chorus of Dragons series by Jen Lyons, in the hopes that I will get to reading for the first time Memory of Souls, which is the third book in this series, which follows Kieran, who is almost like a street urchin. He's a musician and he works for his adopted father in a brothel, playing music and shows for all the attendees. And while he is out one night, he does thievery in order to save up like this nest egg so that he can get away from the city of Kerr, which is where he lives. While he's trying to save up for this nest egg, he accidentally overhears a demon talking to a few high up figures in the city of Kerr, and the demon recognizes that it is not alone with these people in this discussion and kind of notices Kieran, and from there that trips off a whole lot of trouble. So this follows obviously demons, different fantasy races like the Vane or the Manor Vane, which are kind of like an elven race, I suppose. They are very beautiful and very old, so that makes me think of elves. But I also love the different way that magic is described in this world as well. It is a very complicated system, but all you need to know is it mainly follows Kieran, and he is our kind of unwilling hero who is stuck in a situation that he must then react to and then try and find a way out of. So that is really where it starts, at this humble beginning, and I love those stories. So that is why I want to read this for the first time. It is why I'm rereading this, to get all of the information back into my head after having a few months of a break, because these are very complicated, so I need to know what I'm going to be reading about. So really, hopefully I can have this reread before June even starts, because I've got 7 hours of the audio left and I just finished filming a reading vlog. So that is my goal next, to finish this, because I'm filming this to be read video in May, so I have some time left before I get to this. This though is like 700 pages, so cross your fingers and toes for me, because I'm gonna need a lot of luck finishing this one. And not only finishing this one, but finishing this one plus other books in the month. Then I've got a new release which I was kindly sent by Hachette Australia, a publisher of many fantasy titles that I love. Everyone has been talking about this book. It is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and this one is, I believe, a fantasy romance with enemies to lovers that has a magical trial in it and dragons. So what is not to love? I hope it's going to be quite enjoyable, and I hope that it's a little bit aged up as well, because if it's going to be romance, I prefer older characters in romance. Everyone has said a lot of great things about it, but people seem to be very polarized by this, which is common for every popular book. People either love it or hate it. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon with crossed fingers, because I'm buddy reading this with a friend, and I hope that both of us end up enjoying it, because that always leads to a more memorable reading experience. I'm also currently reading 2 books as well, and if I can, I'd like to dedicate a bit of time to reading them and finishing them during the month of June, but I understand if I can't do that because I'm prioritizing finishing some longer books. So depending on how I feel in June and what else pops up to get done during the month that is not related to reading, that'll split my time up. I don't know what is going to happen. Tentative on these next 2. So the first one is Battle Mage, which follows 3 different characters. There is Balfrost, Vargas, and Talandra, a battle mage, a common soldier, and a princess and spy master. They are all in different parts of this kind of world, I think, and I'm imagining that things cross over and collide, because I've already read the first chapter of this, and Balfrost, who is the soldier who doesn't have any lick of understanding of how to do magic, already knows what a bezoar is, which was featured in Harry Potter. It's like a magical item that stops people getting poisoned. So he's already got knowledge of magical items, so that gives me hope for a bit more understanding of magic in the world. So I'm really interested to see where these characters go. But like I said, I've only read the first chapter and I don't know much more about that. It seems like there is going to be country, blood, and sacrifice, so potentially war on the horizon, which is kind of key for any fantasy or epic fantasy series. Then I'm reading A Man Called Ove, which is a fiction or literary fiction that is very much outside my wheelhouse, but because it's got such a strong tone to it of Ove's angry, grumpy voice, I'm enjoying it. Well, maybe enjoying it is not the right word, but I'm enjoying it. It's about Ove, who is the grumpiest man you'll ever meet, and he thinks himself surrounded by idiots, which is very clearly conveyed in the 25 pages that I have read of this so far. It seems like he's painted as this very distinctly unlikable character, and he's just got such an unswerving conviction of what the world should be like. So I'm eager to see those promises that he's keeping at the beginning of the novel, how they begin to unravel in a positive way and how he gets a different outlook on life. I'm assuming that's how it's going to go, because if he's already decided who he is, he's got to go on some kind of journey for the sake of the book. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that entails. I'm probably going to get emotional, but I also don't want to expect that I'm going to cry, because sometimes if I expect to be very emotional and then it doesn't do it for me, I get really underwhelmed. So I'm going in just expecting to like what I see, and hopefully that will be enough. And then excitingly, we've got some new releases coming out during the month of June. So first off, I'd like to talk about volume 4 of Law Olympus, which is a graphic novel that follows the love story between Hades and Persephone. If you don't actually know, because I'm assuming a lot of people do, but Hades is the god of the underworld and Persephone is the god of life and nature, and they end up falling in love. And I think Persephone is going to bring a new perspective to Hades, and Hades is going to teach Persephone about the world. That's how I'm hoping it goes forward, because those two characters so far throughout the series have been really like each other's rocks, I guess, in terms of understanding and vulnerability. And I just want them to be there for each other. And I just want more of the Olympian gods to come out and kind of show their hand a little bit more and get involved more in the story, because I'm liking how this is progressing. It's probably my favourite Hades and Persephone retelling, because it's got some darker sides and some tension there and some very serious issues, but it's also got a real nice levity to it in terms of the art style and the humour and the dialogue. So I'm really liking that balance, and I'm super psyched that another volume has come out so far this year, because I'm hoping it's not the only one that has come out this year. I think last year 2 or 3 volumes came out, so hopefully that's the same for this year, and more of them come out during the year that I can also get my hands on. Another new release too that I'm looking forward to getting my hands on, I don't know how it's going to go immediately because I've got a few audiobooks that I want to get through first, but this one I'm going to listen to an audio, and it is The Sun and the Star, which is a Nico D'Angelo story. It's a standalone fantasy book by Rick Riordan in his Percy Jackson world about his side character Nico, who ironically, given that I'm reading a Hades and Persephone retelling, Nico is the son of Hades, and so in the Percy Jackson series, people are born who are demigods, and so they are part godly parent, part normal mortal parent, and because of that they've got all of these demigod abilities. Like, they have ADHD, but that is because they have come from this long line of gods that can't sit still because it's a survival mechanism, and Rick Riordan wrote the books for his son, who I believe has ADHD, so it was a way of being inclusive of his son but making it magical as well. And I love the way that Rick has grown with his audience and taken what they've thought into account and grown up, I guess, with us, because he's written a story now that hopefully is for the audience like me who have also aged up with the series. I think that Nico and his boyfriend go to the underworld to do a quest, and it's about Nico confronting like his interpersonal demons or something. That's all I know about it, and it's all I want to know. I hope it's not too long, but I hope it's just long enough, you know, that sweet spot in not being like overdone. We'll see. It came out early May, so I'm actually not too far behind if I started in June. And then lastly, I've got Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which is not a new release, but its new book, The Shadow Cabinet, is, and that is coming out. I don't know if it's mid to late June or not, or even early. Honestly, I don't know when in June. I just know June is the release date. So I guess I'm looking forward to this one too. It follows witches in the modern day, and there was a chosen child in the previous book that kind of made all of these different factions of independent witches, government witches, people who are bigots and people who were inclusive, all of them coming together and butting heads, I guess. And so because of this prophecy, it's unearthed a lot of old dramas. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the sequel, because a lot went down at the end of this book, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the ramifications of the next book and how all of those things play out with all the characters together once they all know exactly what happened. So I guess that's an anticipated release for me, but apart from that, I think that's all I want to read. I do have the next Jen Lyons book here, which is a secret because I haven't hauled it in a book haul yet, but one book haul is coming very soon, so expect to see this. But this is book 4 of the Chorus of Dragons series, and I don't want to know anything about it. I'm not going to read a blurb because I have not read the 3rd book yet. So I'm making my way through this series. It is 5 books long, and I now have all of them. So that is really my goal for this year, to finish that series, because it is so long and I don't want to do any more rereads of it because there is so much information in them that I'm sick of rereading. Like, I just want to get onto new content and enjoy it. So that is my goal, I suppose. So this is my massive TBR for the month of June. Wish me luck, because I'm probably going to need it, but if I can get a lot of physical reading in and hopefully make my reading go faster now that I'm kind of back on the bandwagon again after being so busy in the first half of the year, I have hopes that I'll get through pretty much most of these. Maybe not my buddy read, because we're going to take that as it comes, but we'll see. So Anyway, hopefully I can get through all of these, but we'll see. I'm sure like random wildcards will come up from my library that will unravel my entire plan of reading, which has already happened a few times during May, so I'm sure it will happen again during June as well. But thank you so much for watching this video. Come down below and let me know how many books you're reading for the month of June. I'd be interested to know if I'm not the only one being ambitious, but thank you so much for watching this video. I'll come chat to you down below in the comments, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!